Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Mark, a trainer here at WEX Field Service Management, and today we are covering Pricebook Advanced. Now, as a disclaimer, today is an advanced course. I will assume that you have already used and have some knowledge about the basics of Pricebook. So we're going to dive into the Pricebook features and go over a little more than what we do in our basics session. This webinar will cover different price book options and ways you can use the price book. If you have no price book and need to create items in the moment, how to use your QuickBooks item list, how to create flat rate products yourself using bundles. We'll go over the Profit Rhino flat rate integration, price book digital options, and then updating your price book pricing strategies, invoice options, and we'll look at job form settings so you can make sure your job form defaults, your proposals and invoices are set up how you would like. We'll do a live Q&A at the end where you can get your questions answered live on stream. And without further ado, let's dive into WEX FSM. So we are starting out on an invoice for my customer, Justin Hernandez. And this is something that you can do. There's different scenarios where you may want to use this feature, but you can actually build out your price book while you're building your invoices. So typically you would go to more applications, price book, my price book, and this is where you would build and manage your WEX FSM price book. You would click add product, select your products, and kind of build them out. So that is one way to do it. You would essentially be preloading items into your price book. And then when you're on your proposals and invoices, you would click add item, and all of those items would show up here. But sometimes you either don't have time to sit and build out your entire price book, or there's an item that you just haven't added yet, but you're in the moment, you need that item to be added. And there is a way that you can add items to the price book directly from the job form here. To do this, you will go to price book folders. And then if I scroll all the way to the bottom, I see the new product button. And if I click on that, now I am in the same creation modal that you would see on the My Price Book page. Let's say I want to add a new part. I can click single part only, enter in the product name, set the price, set the category, and fill out all of this information. And once you do and click save, that will then save this item in your price book, so it's available later. You'll be able to pull it up later, and it will add it to this invoice as well. So let's just mock this up real quick. Let's say I would like this to go into my parts folder. I know that this is a part, so I'll have that sync to my job income account in QuickBooks. Let's say that this item costs me $50. With my markup, we'll charge the customer $75. And now I will click Save. And now a product has been successfully created, even though we're not on the price book page, we're on the invoice. And so that part has now been added. It pre-selects it. I can go through and add, other items if I need to, and then click Add Item. And there we go. Some use cases for this, if you are noticing that the item does not exist already and you would like it to exist in your price book, that's when you would use that feature. Now, there's another way that you can add items that are not in your price book currently directly from your job forms, and that would be by using the custom line items. The difference, though, is your custom line items will not save to the price book. So this would be for items that are just specifically in the moment for this job only. You know you may not use that again in the future. And if you do, you can just create another custom line item. So to create a custom line item, you'll click Add Custom Line Item. First, your system wants to double check, is this item already in your price book? So let's say, special coil. And you would look if a coil exists that you're looking for, you can just select it. But since we don't have special coil, we are going to create a custom line item as entered. Then you'll enter your information here. The name and the description will be customer facing. And then you can enter in the quantity. This will represent one. And let's say that this is a $100 item. And I do sync to QuickBooks, so I will make sure I select where I want the revenue for this custom line item to sync to, and then click Add. And there we go. So now I have added some custom items. The first item, General Part 3, was added from Add Item, the folder section, and clicking the New Product. This will add it to your price book and will be available in the future. The other one, the special coil, we used custom line item, and it will only show up on this invoice and won't be creating a default item in your price book. So those are kind of two options. Maybe the majority of what you're using is what is in your price book. When there's a moment when you want a new item added, you use the first option, and then those one-offs that you really don't need added to your price book, you'll use custom line item. All right. Another option while we're here that you can use is the QuickBooks item list. And let's just get a little more deeper into the item list and how that works. So we will click Add Item. And if you notice, there is a tab called From QuickBooks Item List. Now, this will be a direct pull from your QuickBooks. If you're syncing to QuickBooks, if you're not syncing to QuickBooks, this will not be here. But if you are syncing to QuickBooks and you have QuickBooks item list items, they will show up on this tab. Now, there's pros and cons to this. The nice thing about this is if you have already been using your QuickBooks item list, this is a one-to-one copy. And it's a two-way sync item. So you can do all of your edits, updates, changing the price, changing the name, the description. Any of those changes you make in QuickBooks will sync up to WEX FSM. However, there's no space like the WEX FSM price book has a dedicated space so you can go to and create folders and organize in WEX FSM. The QuickBooks item list does not have that. There's no QuickBooks item list page that you would go to. So if you know that your item list items is what you need, you know how to search that list. You maybe have your numbers memorized and you can pull up things very easily. The QuickBooks item list is great. But if you don't really know your list that well, maybe you don't rely as heavily on that list. Maybe you have another price book that you've always looked at. You can add those items into your WEX FSM price book and then be able to use those features that come with the WEX FSM price book. Now, to do this, let's go to More Applications, Price Book, My Price Book. And currently, if you want to use your QuickBooks item list with no changes, you just go to the invoice, go to your QuickBooks item list tab, and pull those items straight from there. But if you would like to pull the QuickBooks item list items into your WEX FSM price book, you would do that by clicking Add Product, select what type of product it is. Let's say we're pulling a part from my QuickBooks item list into my WEX FSM price book. And then from here, it says search for existing part. And I will just search for the part I'm looking for. Let's say I want a fan motor underscore all parts. There it is. And if you notice this, if we look all the way to the right, we can see the source. And the source is saying that this item is from our QuickBooks item list. Select that. And now it's pulling that info from your item list into the product creator here. And then you can fill this out. You can say, I would like this to go into my parts folder. Let's say that my cost for this item is 400. We've got my markup. However you want to set this up or edit this, you can add a description for your customer to see, and then click. Oh, I do want to show this in additional details. If you would like for this to create an inventory part, you can turn that on, and then you can access your asset and COGS accounts if that is something you do. And since we pulled this from your QuickBooks item list, it already knows and links to that item. So now, there we go. We'll click Save. And now we've officially created a one-to-one part in the QuickBook, or sorry, in the WEX FSM price book. And if you do that for all the items that you know you want to use, now you can start using and leaning more heavily on your WEX FSM price book, which does allow you to create better folder organization internally in the system here, rather than using the QuickBooks item list. Again, that is personal preference. If you just want to use your item list and edit in QuickBooks, that's an option. If you'd rather import those and use it in WEX FSM, you can do that as well. All right. Next, let's talk about creating flat rate products using the bundle feature. So we are already on the page we need to be at. This would be more applications, price book, my price book. And from here, we want to create a flat rate item, meaning we want to pull in the parts that I need, the labor that I need, and put those together into one product. To do this, we will click Add Product, click the drop down, and we want to choose Product Bundle Multi-Item Group. Let's talk about how this works. The bundle feature here does require that you first have individual products first. So the way this works is it's going to show me all parts I have in my system. I can search for those parts. Let's say I want a general part. I can just type what I'm looking for. Here's the general part I'd like to use, so I'm going to select that. And you can select multiple items if you want. You can search around. It will keep track of those. If there is a part that doesn't exist yet as an individual item, I can create it by clicking Add New Part. Add in the info for the part you want to add to this bundle. Click Save. It will save that as an individual new item in your price book, but it will also include it in this bundle, which we don't want to do that right now. And then once you have all your parts selected, we will then go to labor and add our labor. Let's choose this one. So for my flat rate custom item I'm making right now with bundle, part selected, labor selected, and we will choose create product bundle. Now we are creating a single item that includes multiple components. And the nice thing about this, and the way you may want to use this, is I know that there are parts and there's labor and there's a bunch of different components, pieces of equipment maybe that go into this bundle, but I don't want my customer to see all of that. I just want them to see that this was a service that I provided and then the price. And maybe in the description, which is customer facing, I can put, we did these things, or this service provides XYZ. However you want to state that, you would do that here. And then you just finish this out like any other product. Where do you want it to be saved? Let's save this into bundles. And then if you scroll down, you can update information about the individual components before clicking save. Once you click save, that now has created a single product with multiple components, and we saved it into our bundles folder. So I'm just going to hit the drop down, and there it is, service provided bundle. Then when I add that to my proposals and invoices, it'll just show the product name and the description when presenting to the customer. But if I click into it in build mode, I'll still be able to see all the components of the bundle, the individual components. Okay, so that is building flat rate products and kind of how bundles work. Next, let's show some other options that you may be interested in. Now, everything we've talked about so far is included in a regular WEX FSM subscription, but we do have some add-ons that will allow you to accomplish certain things. So let's just take a quick look at those. To do this, we're going to go to Settings, Subscriptions. And we have a flat rate subscription. If you are interested in this, or maybe you already have this feature, this is a flat rate price book from Profit Rhino. If you want to save time on manually building out your price book and you use flat rate pricing, this is a great option. You would click the red plus button if you haven't done so already. That will walk you through the process of adding this to your subscription. And then Profit Rhino will enter a massive price book into your system, and that is available to use then on your proposals and invoices. So hopping back to an invoice here, just to show you an example, if I click Add Item, and I go to the From Flat Rate Price Book, these are items that I did not have to enter. There was no manual entry here. It saved a ton of time. And if I go to Flat Rate Folders, you can select price books by industry. And so if you do HVAC and plumbing, you can select both of those. If you only do HVAC, you may just want the HVAC price book and the general price book. And then it's all organized for you. Everything has pictures, descriptions, model numbers. It's a beautiful thing. And the biggest thing here is it saves a ton of time from you having to manually enter. But that is an option if you are interested, and you would sign up from Settings, Subscriptions. The other option is Pricebook Digital, which Pricebook Digital you would actually learn more about and sign up for from the Help Center. Little smiley face guy in the bottom right, click there, and then go to Help. And we're just going to search for Pricebook Digital. And then right here's what we're looking for: enhanced price books, powered by Pricebook Digital. And you can learn all about what this offers. Just to give you an idea of what this does, this is another big time saver, especially if you are going to use the purchase orders feature in your WEX FSM system. So let me give you an example of what this is. What will happen with advanced price books is two main things. Number one, a actual price book from your distributor that you purchase items from in your area. They will connect with WEX FSM and input a price book that has all of the most current and up-to-date pricing of items that you already purchase from them. And then that will be updated frequently as prices update in the market. Those prices are then automatically updated in your system, so you know your pricing is always correct in WEX FSM. In addition to that, you will also get what are called templates. And to show you this, I'm actually just going to type in the word template in my search. And when you sign up for enhanced price books, you will get an account that looks like this. It's a customer account, but really it is a place that has jobs, and these jobs will have templates in them. So if I click into a job, these are all input, and these are all actually selected and created based on the items that you actually sell. So yes, it is possible for you to come in and manually create proposals and comparisons and get those, in a good place and upload your own photos and write your own descriptions and make templates. But you can bypass a lot of that time and have the pricing be updated. Like as prices update, they will update all of your templates in your system as well when those updates come through. And then when you want or need, you will just use the copy feature to use those templates. So if I have a new customer, I know that I'm doing a furnace install. I would just select that and it will copy that information over and save me some time. So if you are interested in that, you can go to that help center and either contact support and just let them know, hey, I'm interested in signing up for the enhanced price book feature, or you can just search that in the search, enhanced price book, and go to the enhanced price books powered by Pricebook Digital article. All right, and we are cruising here. Let's go now to some ways you can set up pricing strategies in your system. To do this, let's go to More Applications, Pricebook, Pricing Defaults. From here, this will show you your pricing strategies in your system. And let's talk about how this works. We've got the standard price whenever you add items to your price book, right? You go to more applications, price book, my price book, you hit add item, you start adding those items to your price book. Those will always by default take on the standard price if it is a part item. So I create a new item, I enter in the cost, it will mark up 1.5 because that's what I have set here and automatically give me a standard price. If the customer you are helping is a maintenance plan customer, it will automatically apply the maintenance plan discount that you have here. And if you're running a maintenance plan program, a great way to maintain customer loyalty is to offer those discounts. You let them know, hey, we're going to come out twice a year. We're going to service we're going to maintenance your systems and make sure they're in good health throughout the year. And, that will save you money in general from expensive repairs. However, you will also get 10% off on future parts or future repairs, whatever you want those discounts to go towards. You'll set that discount here, and then when you're on a job, you can actually, in the job price section, update the pricing. The nice thing about the maintenance plan price is it will automatically apply if they are a maintenance plan customer. So we can see right here, there is a star next to Justin's name. Justin is a member of our Comfort Club maintenance plan program. And when I created this job, it already knew Justin was part of that club and updated the price for me. If Justin, let's say, is a friend of the family, I can then click and change that to a friends and family pricing strategy. And now when I create my invoice, it will take on the friends and family discount, which we can see I have just created a modifier here. These are three modifiers that you are able to use to put in either a discount or a increase. So I also have added an after hours pricing. Let's say somebody has an emergency on late on a Saturday, which is after our hours. I would go out, I would help them. And when I'm on that job, before I create my invoice, I would want to change that pricing strategy to after hours. And now that is going to apply a 25% increase to items I add from my price book. Now, a little detail, there's a couple details to this that you need to know. Number one, you want to make sure that you're setting these pricing strategies up first when you're building your price book, because any changes that you make to this will not apply to any products that are already existing in your system. So here's a scenario. I'm setting up my price book for the first time. I come here, I set my standard price, my maintenance plan pricing, and I make three modifiers. After that, I build out my entire price book. Let's say I make 200 items. Then everything's good. When I go and I switch between these different pricing strategies, it will update for those products because I created them after I made these strategies. Then let's say I actually want to lower my friends and family discount to 10% and hit save. That will only apply, any changes that you make on this page will only apply to new items that you add to the price book and will not affect your previous items. This will maintain the historical record of pricing for those items. But if you do want this change to apply, you can submit a service request to the Help Center, go to the Help Center and contact support. And you can just let them know, I updated my friends and family discount and I would like that to apply to my entire price book. And they will run a SR for that. That typically takes between 1 to 2 business days. And then you will see that updated on items in your price book. It does say it in a big yellow box up here. So, just make sure that you do understand that any updates or changes you make to this will not apply to pre-existing items and will apply to new items that you add. Okay. Now let's take a look how you can update your invoice options in the moment. So if we go to an invoice, and let's go on a job. Oh, good, good. We have invoices here. So I'm just going to open this invoice. And we can see I've got some items here. And what if I'm creating an invoice and I want to update the pricing strategy while I'm building the invoice? Yes, you can do it from the job level. So if I'm on a job, I can change the job price from here. But maybe I don't want to back out of my invoice to go do that. Instead, I can use the pricing settings button right here. So click pricing settings. And from here, you can change the pricing strategy. You can show or hide maintenance plan pricing. You can hide line items and quantities and unit prices if you want. And here, let's actually see an example of this. I'm going to hide everything and hit update. Now, when you're in build mode, it will still show you your unit price and quantities. But when you go to present mode to show your customer, we can see all of these items have now been hidden. So since we did that, the customer can still see the name of the item and the description, but there's no unit, quantity, pricing. They just see the total at the end. And that's up to you. Maybe that's on a job by job basis. And the way that you would update this is in build mode from pricing settings. All right. And then the last topic that we will talk about before we get into our Q&A is how to preset these options as job preference defaults. So to do this, let's go to settings, jobs, job preferences. And from here, we are focusing today on price book. Price book is going to have items that we're then pulling onto our job forms, our proposals and invoices. And this is where you can update what items you want to either show or hide by default on those job forms. So the question then becomes, do I want my invoices and proposals to show my customer the location name, the model numbers, unit prices, maintenance plan savings, billing address, product number, and line item amounts and quantities? Maybe you don't want them to see the model numbers. You don't want them to go and research how much it costs for that unit you just installed. And you can hide that right from here. And by doing it here, you are setting it as a default. So that means that if this is off, show model number, every single time I add an item from my price book to a job form, it will not show the model number unless I want that to show, and I can always come back here and update those defaults. All right. So that is all the information that we have for today's presentation. I hope that you learned something. We're going to go to our Q&A now, but before we do, I just want to say thank you so much for joining. My name is Mark with WEX Field Service Management, and this has been Pricebook Advanced.